After the drama in the Netherlands, it's time for Monza. Let's talk about it. Welcome back to On Track GP. I'm Jamie Chambers, and do we have an exciting race to talk about? We're fresh off the Dutch Grand Prix and heading straight to the Temple of Speed, the iconic Monza circuit for the Italian Grand Prix. Grab your espresso and get ready, because we're diving deep into what promises to be a thrilling race weekend. A quick circuit overview for you. This track has been the stage for some of F1's most memorable moments since 1950. It's the fastest circuit on the calendar and a true test of man and machine. This year, we've got some spicy updates to the track. A wider first chicane. This should reduce those heart-stopping first lap collisions that we've seen in the past. Tweaks to the Lesmo corners. These might allow for more aggressive lines through the more crucial turns. Ascari chicane modifications. The curb changes here could lead to some interesting race lines. But that's not all. The entire track has been resurfaced, which could mean faster lap times than we've ever seen before. I wouldn't be surprised if we see some records tumble this weekend. Monza, known as the Temple of Speed, is the fastest circuit in Formula 1, with 76% of lap time and 83% of lap distance taken at full throttle. The track's long straights and high speed sections mean it requires fewer gear changes and demands the lowest downforce setup of the year, necessitating a special rear wing. Despite the low downforce, there's still enough theoretically to allow a car to drive upside down. Who knew? The circuit also features the highest average corner speed of any F1 track, with fast corners like Curva Grande and Parabolica balancing out the slower chicanes. The toe effect is particularly powerful at Monza, playing a crucial role in qualifying as drivers battle to avoid leading the pack and instead benefit from the aerodynamic slipstream, which can shave up to 0.25 seconds off lap times. Now let's get our geek out and talk tech. Monza is all about straight line speed, and teams will be bringing their skinniest rear wings of the season. We're talking pancake flat T-tray wings that will make these cars look like they're ready for takeoff. Pirelli's not messing around either. They're bringing their softest tyre range. C3 as the hard, C4 as the medium, and C5 as the soft. The tyres are a step softer than last year, C3, C4 and C5, and the alternative tyre allocation is in place, meaning that teams get 3 sets of hards, 4 sets of mediums and 4 sets of softs, and 2 fewer sets of tyres overall per car for the race weekend. Hards must be used in Q1, mediums in Q2 and softs in Q3. Now, despite the high speeds, tyre wear at Monza is historically low. Why? Less downforce means less load on the tyres through corners, but don't be fooled. The risk of blistering is always there with these speeds. Strategy-wise, we're likely looking at a one-stopper. Last year, we saw 25 out of 27 pit stops as part of one-stop strategies. My money's on a medium to hard strategy being the go-to for most teams. This is a track where the time needed for a pit stop is one of the longest of the year, so on paper, a one-stop strategy is quickest. In free practice, it will be important to evaluate what effect the new surface might have on tyre behaviour over a longer run, both in terms of performance and on degradation. Last year, the race was very linear, with the 2 hardest compounds being the clear choice. 17 of the 20 drivers chose to start on the C4, while only 3, Hamilton, Bottas and Magnussen, preferred the C3. 14 drivers pitted just once, 6 pitted twice, although in Piastri's case that was down to the need to change the front wing after a collision with Hamilton. The remaining 5, Gasly, Zhou, Lawson, Hulkenberg and Magnussen, adopted this strategy because the drop in performance from the tyres was already too high in the first stint. Now, for those of you playing F1 Fantasy, keep an eye out for drivers starting on the hard tyre. They might be looking to capitalise on a late safety car for a cheap pit stop. Now, as for race disruption, stoppages are likely to occur and provide a prime opportunity to pit. In the last 5 dry Grand Prix at Monza, there has been an average of 1 safety car and 1 virtual safety car per race. Last year, both were deployed during the Grand Prix. What about overtaking? Now, you'd think with those long straights, overtaking would be a breeze at Monza, but it's trickier than it looks. The low downforce setups mean slipstreaming isn't as effective, and DRS doesn't pack the same punch as at other tracks. We've got 2 DRS zones to spice things up, down the pit straight into the first chicane, and from the exit of Lesmo 2 down to Ascari. Last year, we only saw 31 on-track overtakes. That's not a lot for a track nicknamed the Temple of Speed. Will the track changes make a difference this season? We'll have to wait and see. In summary, Monza is famous for its long straights and high-speed sections, with cars reaching speeds of 350 km an hour and spending 77% of the lap at full throttle. Despite this, Monza is not expected to have the highest top speeds of this year's calendar, with Mexico and the upcoming Las Vegas likely to surpass it due to their unique conditions. Monza's layout features only 11 corners, making it one of the least complex tracks in terms of corner count. The circuit's long straights are interrupted by chicanes that require heavy braking, with 3 braking events events exceeding 4G over 0.4 seconds. The track demands just 40 gear changes per lap, one of the lowest on the F1 calendar, as much of the lap is spent in 8th gear. Monza is highly power sensitive, meaning even small increases in engine power can significantly impact lap times, especially when exiting low-speed corners onto the straights. The high-speed nature of Monza often results in one of the shortest races of the season, typically lasting about an hour and 15 minutes, if uninterrupted. The circuit's demands on mechanical grip are high due to the numerous acceleration zones, with corners like Ascari challenge drivers with curbs that can either be advantageous or punishing depending on how well the car handles them. Managing these events is crucial for success at Monza, where stability and traction are key to a strong performance. So, what about last year's race? Let's take a quick trip down memory lane and look at some of the numbers from last year. Pole position, a blistering 120.294 by Ferrari's Carlos Sainz. Top speed, a rapid 350 kilometers an hour. Fastest race lap, 125.072 by the rookie sensation Oscar Piastri in the McLaren. With the track changes and car development, I wouldn't be surprised to see these records fall. As for the actual race, Max Verstappen secured his 10th consecutive F1 victory at the 2023 Italian Grand Prix, surpassing Sebastian Vettel's record. Verstappen's win, his 12th of the season, came after an early battle with the Ferraris, including a decisive pass on Carlos Sainz on lap 15. His Red Bull teammate Sergio Perez also had a strong performance, overtaking both Ferraris to finish second, making it a Red Bull Honda 1-2 finish. We don't see those anymore. Carlos Sainz, who started on pole, finished third after a tough race defending against his Ferrari teammate Charles Leclerc, who came in fourth. George Russell and Lewis Hamilton of Mercedes finished 5th and 6th respectively, despite both receiving 5-second penalties. The race saw several close battles, with Alex Albon finishing 7th for Williams, narrowly ahead of Lando Norris in 8th. What a difference a year makes. Further down the order, Fernando Alonso and Valtteri Bottas rounded out the top 10, while Liam Lawson narrowly missed out on points in 11th place. The race was marked by several incidents, including Yuki Tsunoda's engine failure on the formation lap and Esteban Ocon's late retirement. Time for some team-by-team analysis. Let's break down how our top teams are looking going into the Italian Grand Prix. Mercedes, they certainly had a rough time at Zandvoort, didn't they? Hamilton started from closer to the back than the front after a Q2 exit and grid penalty, and Russell, well, he gave up track position after the second stop. Monza might not be their happy place either. Their car seems to excel in high-speed corners, which Monza doesn't really have. Plus, they're not always the fastest in a straight line. I'm expecting them to be 4th fastest team this weekend, but you never know with the Silver Arrows. Ferrari, the Tifosi will be out in full force, and Ferrari's looking better. They pulled off a podium at Zandvoort, but they had no business getting it thanks to Leclerc's stellar drive. Their strength in braking could be a real asset at Monza, especially in those tight chicanes. I'm putting them as the 3rd fastest team this weekend. They might not be fighting for the win, but don't be surprised to see a sea of red in the grandstands if they land a podium. McLaren, who saw this coming at the start of the season? McLaren absolutely dominated at Zandvoort. Lando Norris won by over 20 seconds and set the fastest lap on old hard tyres. Their latest upgrade seems to have catapulted them to top of the pecking order. The slow corner performance should serve them well in Monza's chicanes. But, and it's a big but, Norris needs to sort out his starts. Monza has one of the longest runs to turn 1, and a poor getaway could cost him dearly. Red Bull, is the empire crumbling? Okay, that might be a bit dramatic, but Red Bull no longer looks like the clear fastest car. This is now 5 races where Verstappen hasn't won, his longest dry spell since 2020. For Monza, they should be rapid in a straight line, but those chicanes could be their Achilles heel. If Red Bull wants to win this one, we might need to see another Verstappen masterclass, but would you ever write off Verstappen? Time for my predictions. Let's put my neck on the line and see if I can do better than last week. Starting in the midfield battle, I'm backing Fernando Alonso in the Aston Martin to lead the charge. That car's straight line speed could be a real asset at Monza. Also, strong performances for Lance Stroll and hopefully Nico Hülkenberg. For pole position, I'm hardly going out on a limb and saying Lando Norris in the McLaren. That McLaren looks seriously fast at Zandvoort, so he should take pole again this weekend. Here's my top 5. Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri take home a 1-2 for McLaren. Max Verstappen comes home 3rd for Red Bull, followed by Charles Leclerc and George Russell. No places for Hamilton or Sainz. And do we even bother mentioning Sergio Perez? Yes, I'm predicting a McLaren 1-2. That might genuinely be a first for me, but after their performance in the Netherlands, I think they could do it. To top it off, I'm also predicting Lando to take the fastest lap, meaning he will take more than 8 points out of Verstappen's lead. We all want that tight title challenge, right? But what do you think? Am I on the money or am I way off base? Let me know in the comments what you think. And there you have it, our extended preview of the Italian Grand Prix, from the twists and turns on the track to the potential shake-up in the pecking order. This race is shaping up to be quite a lot of fun. Don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe to On Track GP and hit that notification bell so you don't miss the race day coverage. Remember to keep the pedal to the metal, and ciao for now.